Hello and good day. Welcome to the Super Good Camping Podcast. My name is Pamela.
I'm Tim.
And we are from supergoodcamping.com. We are here because we're on a mission to inspire other families to enjoy camping adventures such as we have with our kids. Today's guest is the mama portion of an amazing camping family that has combined a total of 73 years camping experience. She built a website that's chock full of camping related information, packing lists, best of lists for gear, beginner's guides, and so much more. Being a mama, she's very family oriented, and that's very obvious in the family's activities. Please welcome Molly Foss from Camping Critterz with a Z. Yay.
Welcome.
Although you probably say with a Z where you're from.
Oh, yes. No, yes.
We do.
Sorry. Camping Critterz Z. No, Z.
Yeah. Either way.
All right. Cool. So thank you very much for coming and having a chat with us.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Yeah. We've obviously had a brief chat beforehand, and I've spent some time on your website. Just looking at your website, it's like, oh, these are so us. Like we're so aligned in all the things that we do. You know, about it being a family. Well, it's kind of, no, I guess we're still sort of family for us. We do front country camping, car camping together, Pamela and I. Our youngest is busy doing game design and stuff like that, like he's at university, but our eldest still jumps in a canoe and bugs out with me for a while. So I guess we're still family campers.
Yeah.
So tell us a bit about you guys. I'm not going to ask about the math of 73 years combined, because I don't want to.
You're not that old.
Yeah, exactly.
We're not. It just, because there's three of us, the math adds up faster.
All right, cool. So for starters, how did you get into camping? How did that start for you?
My mom, we were at the store one day and we were at good old Kmart, and she decided there was a tent on sale, Coleman standard, 2-room tent. It was actually huge at the time. It still actually would be considered huge. I want to say it was on sale for like $99, and she decided, we're going to buy this. We're going to go camping. So we buy it, we get it home. We, of course, immediately set it up in the yard. And my dad comes home from work and looks and he goes, whose tent is that? It's our tent. We're going camping. Who's going camping? So it was a bit to get my dad convinced to go. We did many different iterations of sleeping arrangements in the tent, which was quite the adventure, being complete novices at this, not really knowing many people who went. I think the first time we went out, I don't remember what my parents slept on, but my sister and I slept on pool floaties, so they were not made for sleeping on. They were very slippery, and with the slippery sleeping bag, it was kind of like a rodeo all night trying to stay on it. We definitely had some misadventures with not realizing when you have an awning on your tent. My mom thought it'd be a genius idea. She's a seamstress. She made an awning for the tent. It seemed like a great plan until we didn't realize that when you go to bed, you have to tilt one side of the awning if it's going to rain. And so the awning filled up with water and pulled the whole tent forward. And so we're sleeping at an angle. We wake up and I go out first to try and get outside, and my dad almost like runs into me. He's like, why aren't you going out of the tent? I was like, well, the door of the tent is in the mud on the ground. I don't know how to get out. So it was quite fun going camping, figuring it out, going from the pool floaties to air mattresses to cots to figuring it all out and what was the most comfortable. And then eventually my parents settled into a pop-up camper, which I thought was amazing. And we did that for quite a while up and down the North Shore of Minnesota along Lake Superior. Is really one of the most favorite places that we went camping. We also used it as, like, instead of staying at a motel on a road trip, just, throw the tent in the car, and why not? It's much cheaper and makes it more of an exciting trip to tent on the way there. Then when I married my husband, he was an Eagle Scout in the Boy Scouts. And so camping was something he'd been doing since he was little as well. So we definitely early on in our marriage went camping. And then when our son was born, we knew it was something that we weren't going to stop doing, because a lot of people would ask me, like, how do you go camping with your kid? And I'd be like, well, babies are quite portable. You just pack up half of everything you own and you throw them in the car and you go. And it's great. It's just like going anywhere else with a child. You do have to pack up half the house, it feels like, when they're very young. But yeah, so it was kind of that questioning that I would get from friends and coworkers of how do you do it? How do you do it? And it seemed very obvious to me that I realized maybe I did have information other people didn't, and or at least maybe bravery to go and figure out on the fly, make the mistakes, figure it out as you go along. So in October of 2020, it seemed to me camping was going to be the next kind of popular vacation. I was sensing it was going to get more popular, being outside, doing things like that. So I decided to start the website to help other people who maybe didn't have the confidence to go and make the mistakes, to tell them more about the things we'd done, the mistakes we'd made, to help them learn and be a little ahead when they go and make their own different mistakes for camping, and just try and help more people get out there with their families, because I love it. My family loves it, and I want that for more people.
That's cool. And everybody's going to make mistakes. Hopefully they're not big ones, or at least bad ones, bad outcomes in that sense. And everybody has to learn. So that's one of the wonderful, I mean, that's kind of why we have our podcast, but that's one of the wonderful things I thought about your website was it's pretty straightforward to read the information. Like it's very relatable to put into action, to go to, to take a little guy and go and put him in a tent and here's some things to remember, because when you get out there and go, shoot, I forgot the whatever, insert whatever here. That's painful. So great lists, all that sort of jazz. How long have you been working on the website to do all those amazing articles, amazing lists, my goodness, there's so much stuff.
Yeah, so my day job, I'm a nurse, and over the last 3 years, I've worked anywhere from 3 to 4 shifts a week. I think I've been 8-hour shifts the whole time. I used to do 12-hour shifts a while ago. So really all of my days off during the week while my son's at school, I am working on the website and researching things, writing articles, that kind of stuff, making the list, doing the graphics. It's really, it's all me. So it's kind of every chance I get to have a good chunk of time to sit down and chip away at it, to continue. And I get good feedback from people that they've read something and it helped them, or somebody took their son on a camping trip for the first time and used one of my packing lists and gave me a shout out. And that really, it makes it all worth it. It's awesome.
Cool. Yeah. The feedback's the best, because otherwise you're just, for us, shouting into the ether, for you writing into the ether, right?
Right.
You don't. It's like, I think that's great. That's my experience. That's the thing. And then crickets. Come on, man.
Yep.
Cool. So where do you guys, like, how much time do you spend camping in a given year? Obviously that's, with a youngster that's still in grade school, but was itty bitty not that long ago. It obviously there's a bit of a flex. There's a bit of a change in there because you're busy with life things. How much time do you spend outside?
I would say we spend a lot of time outside in general, especially during the summer, but we live in Minnesota. Even during the winter, we have the gear, and I've been told and kind of have adopted the phrase, there's no bad weather, there's just bad gear. Because living in Minnesota, if you just don't go outside when the weather's not perfect, you don't go outside a lot of the year. So you got to adapt to the snow or the rain or what have you. And so we do try and spend a lot of time outside. Riding bikes. We have a nature preserve not far from us. We walk down. We actually live not far from the Mississippi River. We can walk down there and do that in an evening and come back. So that's awesome. I would say we only get camping probably 2 to 3 weekends a year in the middle of the summer when it's nice out. I'm hoping as my son gets older that maybe we'll have more opportunities to go as he is able to tolerate the longer car rides and want to go more places. So it's exciting as he gets older that we are envisioning cooler and more adventurous trips with him.
Cool. And what kind of places? Like regular campgrounds? What was the term? Diverse camping? Is that
Diverse.
what the
State parks, like where would you go?
Yeah, we do a lot of state park camping. I find that they're always well maintained, and usually they have awesome walking trails and hikes and things to do in them. So that's a lot of fun. Some of the private owned campgrounds are more of a, I don't want to say party scene, but like people are just there to stay in their campground and do that kind of, they need a pool and an arcade and all this stuff. And we want to go off and go on a fun hike or do a thing outside and not turn our campground into a party kind of scene. So we do like the state parks. Just this last summer, we took our son to the Boundary Waters, which is all the lakes in between Minnesota and Canada, which is gorgeous. It was my first time being there. My husband had been there several times with scouts, but so that was canoe camping. Canoed in 2 to 3 lakes. One of the lakes changed names in the middle of the lake, so it was kind of weird of what you would actually want to call a lake. But only 2 portages to get to our campsite, so that was definitely a new way of camping. My husband and I have also done backpack camping. We hiked, the longest one we did was 12 miles in Havasu, Arizona to Havasu by Falls, which we did in the middle of summer, and it was absolutely
Hot.
crazy and hot. But if you've ever seen pictures of the waterfalls, they are amazing. Like, we just don't even have water that color here in Minnesota. So it was awesome to see. It's not something I ever probably need to do again. It was quite a hike, quite long and hot, as you would imagine. It's Arizona, but so we've done a little of that. I would like to do maybe the Superior Hiking Trail with our son, a little more low stakes kind of backpack camping where, if something goes wrong, you're not terribly far from civilization. Once he gets a little older and is able to carry a couple more things in his backpack. So that's kind of the goal.
Okay, cool. I can't. I'm shorts from like March break till like 3 weeks ago. I switched back to pants, so I couldn't. I couldn't do the Arizona thing.
No.
I would melt before like about 4 steps in. I'd just be a puddle on the floor. That'd be it. I'm done. That would be no fun. Cool. And are you? What?
I couldn't hear you for a minute there, Molly.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
Okay.
It was better. Okay, it was really hot, and it's definitely a different camping experience. There was no campfires allowed, so I was like, well, what are we going to do in the evening? Well, it was so hot you wouldn't have wanted to light a campfire anyway. But on the hike out, you definitely have to start at dawn because you want to be out before noon, if at all possible. It was definitely like we didn't even put the rain fly on the tent because you wanted as much ventilation as possible, and the chance of rain was minuscule while we were there. So from camping in Minnesota, where it gets down pretty cold and we're used to insulating sleeping pads, insulating the bottom of the tent, insulating, wearing a hat to bed, doing the whole thing, and then here we are in Arizona. Like, I don't even know this world of like there's a breeze rolling through the campsite and you expect it to feel refreshing, but it kind of feels like you just opened the oven to check on cookies. It is just so
You're in a convection oven.
extremely hot, but we did it. I can check that one off the list, and we survived without melting, which it was close.
That's pretty. Yeah, that'd be pretty polar opposites.
Yeah, it's weird
to do that. So, and when you're talking about being cold, like, do you actually get out and do winter camping?
I haven't yet. My son has been talking about wanting to try it this year, so I told him maybe in the backyard we would see if we could set up the tent, and we have all the gear for it that conceivably we should be able to stay warm and survive, but very low stakes, being 10, 20 steps out the back door if it all goes wrong and we decide not to follow through with it. But I definitely think we're gonna try it at least. We've definitely woken up to frost on the tent before several times. I will say I wear contacts when camping, and I wear contacts all the time. Sometimes I wear glasses, but I like wearing my sunglasses outside, so I definitely am wearing them while I'm camping. And if you put in contact lenses that are just above freezing into your eyeballs first thing in the morning, that will wake you up better than any coffee or anything else you could ever have.
Note to self.
Yeah, you just awake whether you want to be or not.
That's wild. Yeah, cool. That's fine. And also do you anticipate as the wee man gets older, you're going to be able to do not even just farther trips, because the joy of being stuck in a car for 4 hours or whatever, but potentially longer duration trips instead of just like weekend type trips. Like, are you planning towards doing like week trips or whatever?
Yeah, I think that definitely would be the goal, especially I think the Boundary Waters would be a perfect place to do that, because once you kind of get into your campsite with the canoes and everything and set it up, it's a great place to stay and do your base camp and then do little day trips with the canoe. And, if we, on a certain day trip, if we'd taken a left instead of a right, we could have ended up in Canada and had a good time paddling over there and all that kind of stuff. So it definitely is something I want to go back and do and explore more. And it's quite a drive from here. And again, with getting all the stuff in the canoe and getting it to the campsite and everything, once you set it up, it's like, yeah, I kind of want to stay here for several days now that we've accomplished all this. So I'm looking forward to doing the longer trips as well.
Cool. I'll take any camping. I don't care. I'll do it all. I'm good with it. But that's my favorite trip. Actually, it ends up being 2 or potentially 3 trips, but that's my favorite, is jump in a canoe, go far away from people.
Yep.
And stay there.
And stay there. Yes. And then paddle some more to a different site, paddle some more to a different site, because I'm a glutton for punishment.
Yep.
All right. So since you have obviously far too much energy and a bit of free time, what do you like about what you're doing with the articles, with the lists, with the guides, all the things? Like, what's your favorite part of doing that stuff?
Honestly, like you said, it's the feedback that other people have used the information I have and successfully accomplished something with their family. That is, it's really awesome to hear about. It's really great to know that, the information, sometimes very hard won information that I have about the do's and don'ts of camping, especially with kids, is helping other people not make my mistakes and have the confidence to get out there. It also is fun that it's kind of forced me to kind of take maybe more adventures with my son, to have more material and more experiences and see like, hey, will this work, or is this product actually worth it? And so we get it and we try it, and that kind of little family adventures that my son has even started saying, hey mom, take a picture of me for the website. So I don't make him pose for me too often for that kind of thing, because I do like living in the moment and making it about the hike and not about the pictures we're going to get on the way. But it is funny that he tries to be helpful and, here, take a picture of me for the people on the website so they can know how to do this. And it is cool that we're, passing that love of camping and the spreading of information onto him. So yeah, kind of a little bit of everything. It's nice to have all of my knowledge in one spot, and also to know that it's helping other people and helping my son and having everybody get out there and have a better time at it.
And is there a most popular bit of content that you've noticed, or like people comment the most about, oh, this checklist was just the best?
The infant packing list has been pretty popular. Also, one recently about how to spray, like permethrin spray your clothes for ticks, has been pretty popular. We have a lot of ticks in Minnesota where we are, and neighboring Wisconsin, pretty popular for ticks, and Lyme's disease is prevalent around here. So that one has been pretty popular. Also, like inflatable air mattress alternatives, because people, and I mean, first night I spent in a tent was on a pool floaty, but the $20 blow up mattress that everybody seems to get at the store is a popular choice for going camping, and I've slept on them many, many, many times. But once the temperatures dip slightly, sleeping on one of those mattresses is like sleeping on an ice cream sandwich. It's not great. So I wrote one about air mattress alternatives. It's kind of got some traction. My favorite is insulated air mattresses that I didn't know were a thing for quite a while. And then we found out by accident on a trip to Glacier National Park in Montana. There were 6 of us, and the first night, it was August. We thought it was going to be hot, and it wasn't, and we should have been more prepared for that. But we were sleeping on a standard queen air mattress that you get from Walmart or wherever, and it was absolutely freezing that night. And we all woke up the next morning, and all of us were complaining about how cold it was, except for one of the 6 of us. And I said, okay, what is it you were doing that the rest of us weren't? And he told us about the Xped insulated air mattresses, and I bought one within a week of us getting home. It was a game changer of being insulated from the ground, but still on some kind of inflatable mat. So that article is definitely getting popular because people want to go camping. Those air mattresses always deflate in the middle of the night, and they're, people like me who don't want to sleep on the ground. So they're like, I can't get up from a deflated air mattress. My back won't do it. My knees won't do it. What's a good alternative for this? So it's a pretty popular one.
Cool.
You're too young for my back won't do it. My knees won't do it.
Yeah, leave it to us elderly.
It sneaks up on you, though.
No, I've been crippled for as long as I can remember. So, cool. I just had a thought. Where was I going to go with this? Shoot. Also, memory. When you get older, memory goes too. Oh, come on. What was I just going to do?
Air mattress. Cold.
Oh, no. Gear reviews. So
Yeah.
It's one of the things I didn't. It's what I was too busy reading. There's so much content. My jeepers. What's your process? Do I make the assumption you're not sponsored? People don't just throw free gear at you to go on review, or is that a thing?
It is a thing, actually. I have been lucky enough to been contacted by a couple companies out of the blue, and they've asked me to review their stuff and given me a sample to review, and others I have contacted them and had the same relationship with. So some of my posts are with sponsored gear, and I definitely note that when that's happening. Other things, like I wrote a big write-up about the baby carrier backpack that we used a lot when my son was little, the Osprey backpack, and definitely did not get that one for free. Just loved it so much that it was our go-to. We got it actually used, which I think is the genius way to get those things because they are pricey. But carried my son everywhere in it. I mowed the lawn one day with him in it. I definitely shoveled the driveway more than once with him in it. Walked to the coffee shop. He slept on many, many hiking trips in that backpack. Loved it. So it's a bit of both. That it was interesting to find out once I started the website that, yeah, there are people that will definitely send you free gear to review, and that's all they're looking for is a honest review. And other people, don't always answer or don't have that kind of relationship with people who are content creators. But it's kind of cool every once in a while, getting something in the mail and telling my husband, like, oh, that's for me, I'm an influencer now. So it's kind of funny, but it is cool to see different gear that I wouldn't have necessarily known about. One of the first things that we got involved with, that I was contacted by the makers of a camping baby monitor. And I had an article that was quite popular for a while about battery operated baby monitors when you want to go camping and you're canoeing or, out in the wilderness, whatever you're doing, not somewhere with power. Even car camping don't always have plug-ins. And you want to, kind of sit at the campfire, maybe in the neighboring site because you got friends with you or something, but you don't want to leave the kids absolutely alone in the tent. What do you do? So I wrote an article about all the different ways you could use a walkie-talkie or use a set of cell phones or use this, use that, or, get this one weird baby monitor that looked a little odd, but it definitely worked and was battery operated. And I wrote this whole article about it. I was contacted by a guy. He said, "Hey, I loved your article. I read it several times as I was developing this new product. It's a it's a battery operated baby monitor. And it's made for camping. It's splash proof. It's drop proof. It's amazing." And so he sent me one to review, and that's up on my website. His website is roar.com, like ROAR. And they definitely have awesome baby monitors that are super cool. And I wish I had one when my son was little. I thought that one was hilarious. Like, I'm writing about all the ways to work around this because that's what I can do, is think through a problem and find other solutions. He sat down and said, "I bet I could make one." So definitely cool to see different people solving the same problem from different angles.
That's awesome. What I'm sorry, I'm picturing when ours were shorter too, that we had walkies, but I bought the stupid expensive ones that had Vox settings on them, so that's only when they were talking and stuff like that.
Yep.
And baby's not going to push the button and go, "Hey."
If baby's not going to do anything, maybe gum it.
Yeah.
No, slobbering. Don't slobber on me. Just short out. What other gear that have you done?
I've gotten a set of Thermacell mosquito repellent. One is just a little mosquito repeller, and one is a mosquito repellent lantern. What else? I'm looking at all my stuff. I got a Ice Mule cooler. It's a backpack cooler. So it would be actually perfect for taking out to the boundary waters and things like that. I have not written up the review and put it on the site yet, but it's a really awesome soft-sided backpack cooler that you can, load up and go, I would think, into the boundary waters. A lot of people I know take some kind of frozen steaks or meat or something and cook it up the first night as it thaws, and then they can use the cooler for a couple other things if you want to keep something mildly cold. But that was definitely something cool that I got. I've gotten some samples of a bone broth powder. That's one of the cool things that I learned. It was interesting being in the boundary waters. We went with some friends that they have been there, they said easily 40 times, 40 different trips to the boundary waters. The year we went this last year, I think we were their fourth trip of the year to go to the boundary waters. So I'm like, oh my gosh, these people know absolutely everything about camping. I'm so excited to go with them and learn from them about how things are done. And we found out that we learned a lot of stuff from them, and they learned a lot of stuff from us. One of my favorite tricks is when you're going out and using those dehydrated backpacking meals, the way to get more protein in them is you buy bone broth powder and you add that to the meal. And then as you're eating it, it's chicken broth powder. So you can add it to any of like the chicken. A lot of them are chicken dishes, but even if you add it to chili mac or the lasagna or whatever, you're not even going to notice the flavor. But 10 more grams of protein when you've just canoed in all day definitely goes a long way. So I was talking about doing that, and they were like, "Wow, I've never thought of that. That's super awesome." And we're, checking out their water filter, and they're checking out our water filter, and we're trading tips, and it was really awesome. So yeah, it is fun scoping out all the gear and seeing who has what and how they like it.
Yeah, cool. That's funny. Wow, we never thought of that. That's exactly what was going through my brain.
Yeah,
we
it's
dehydrate
awesome.
Whatever. So so you've been to Arizona, you've been up to the boundary waters. Any other cool places you've gone that you really had, enjoyable trips or had absolute nightmare trips? Because those are the best stories.
Yeah, the night the tent flipped upside down with the weight of the awning was definitely high up on a disaster. We got it figured out and right again and made it the rest of that trip. I was lucky enough to be involved in a group when I was younger that went across the country and did Habitat for Humanity trips where you build different houses
Yep.
for people. And every time we went on a trip, we went and did 5 days on the job site and then 2 days camping somewhere. So I've been camping many different times in Colorado, and that is always beautiful with the mountains and everything that Colorado has going on. I've camped in the Black Hills in South Dakota, which is always an awesome time, very pretty, different landscapes and all of that. One of the favorite ones, though, with the trip for the Habitat for Humanity stuff was Assateague Island out off the coast. Oh, it's been so long now. I want to say it's South Carolina, somewhere in there. Someone will comment and correct me, I'm sure. But it's out there and it's on the outer banks of the ocean. And there are wild horses there that the rumor we were told is were from like shipwrecks long, long ago. And the horses all swam to the island and now they live there. So it was definitely an experience waking up in the morning and seeing horse hoof prints around your tent. I'm used to raccoons and squirrels and I've even heard coyotes while camping, but seeing actual horse hoof prints around my tent in the sand was quite a different experience. That was really cool.
Way better than seeing bear paw prints around your tent.
Yes, I luckily have not ever encountered a bear while camping. Definitely, raccoons have opened coolers and stolen food because they're very, very sneaky. Heard coyotes recently on a Cub Scout camping trip. And while up in the Boundary Waters, we had what we think is a grouse literally crash into the side of our tent while we were sleeping. That was a good one. The first morning, my husband and I kind of heard them. They were loud and yelling. They're birds and whatever, probably getting ready to migrate at the end of the season. And then the next morning, I'm kind of laying there half asleep, and I'm like, okay, I can hear the birds again. All right. That bird sounds like it's getting closer. That's kind of weird. That sounds like it's getting really close. That actually sounds like it. And then it literally shook the whole tent, crashed into the tent right next to my husband. And we both sat upright, looked at each other like, did that just happen? And like, okay, it did. Look at my son. He is absolutely out sleeping. It's 6:30 in the morning. We managed to get a little sleep after that. But yeah, we're like, oh my gosh, a bird crashed into the tent. And he's like, no, it didn't. It's like, it really did. It's like, I would have woken up. It's like, well, I would have thought so, but you didn't. So yeah, seeing all the different wildlife on all kinds of different areas of the country is awesome too.
Cool. Well, that's a big part of outdoor adventures is that interaction with wildlife, because we don't for the majority of us that live in a city, raccoons, yes, because they're garbage pandas, but
Coyotes. We have coyotes around here.
we do too. That's true.
Rabbits.
Squirrels,
Skunks.
and birds, and hawks, and okay, I'll just shut up. You just took my point. Thanks, all right, cool. Anything else you want particularly to dive into?
I guess I would just want to end by encouraging people to try out camping, even if it's in their backyard, if it's something they want to do with their family. And I think most people will find once they kind of dip their toe into it, they'll find out it's not nearly as hard as they think. And I would say most people at the campground, if they're worried about getting judged or other people looking at them funny, I would say that going camping and being around other people who camp, other people in the campsites are some of the nicest people I have ever met. If you need something and don't have something, you can easily walk, 1-2 tents down and probably find someone who's willing to borrow it, loan it to you. When we were down in Havasupai Falls in Arizona, we're obviously 12 miles in. It is a Native American reservation, so there was a little town not far, and not far, I mean, I think 2 miles walk away with a small, kind of general store with a couple things in it. But other than that, it's like if you didn't bring it, you didn't have it. So, the strap on my husband's shoe broke, and he actually went and found someone with shoe goo, like glue, to go help fix that. And then someone else heard that I was a nurse, and they brought somebody over for me to look at an insect bite. And it's awesome to be around other like-minded people that are willing to help you out. I was camping once, and somebody's dome tent was just not staked down well and was just blowing down the road at the campsite, and 5 of us go chasing it, and we finally catch it, and all of us is looking at everyone else waiting to figure out where we're going to bring it back to, and we realized none of the 5 of us owned that tent. We all went running after it. No, none of us owned it, so we had to walk back and find, like, oh, well, probably goes right there where that campsite doesn't have a tent. But 5 people just instantly willing to get up and chase a tent that's blowing away that it wasn't even ours is kind of the epitome of camping, and how people are willing to help and loan you something or give you a tip on how to do something easier. So I'd say if people are nervous about going and thinking they're going to be judged, you're not. People are going to be very welcoming, very helpful, and definitely give it a try because it's awesome.
Cool. Well, that phrase, like-minded people, that's exactly it. That's the camping community. Like, whether it's your first time or your 879th time, it doesn't.
And whether you're in Canada, whether you're in the US, it generally seems to be the same.
Yeah. There's more of you in the US, but other than that, we're all same.
Yeah, exactly.
That's it for us for today. Thank you so much to our special guest, Molly Foss from Camping Critterz. She's at www.campingcritterz.com. And you can find her on Instagram as well, under Camping Critterz as well.
Yes.
Yeah. So please do reach out to her and check out all of her content on her website. You'll learn something for sure. And we will talk to you again soon. Please do reach out to us. We are at hi@supergoodcamping.com. That's hi@supergoodcamping.com. And we are on all the social media, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and we would love it if you subscribe to us on YouTube. We will talk to you again soon. Bye.
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 Cool.
That's it.